Hello, my friends. Jerry Rosa here in the Rosa Stringworks Man Cave. And you can see I'm wearing the same shirt because I didn't do anything. I just sat there on the chair and relaxed this afternoon. I thought, man, with the kidney stone problems and all the things that's been going on, I thought it's time to take a rest. So I did. And that way I felt more like doing this evening. And I want this to be a fun time. I'm going to make this kind of a request night. I should have said that in the title so you'd be ready. So what I did was I prepared 3 songs that I'll do first. And then you can, while I'm doing these 3 songs, you can be writing your requests in the comment section. And if you would, if the reason you want to learn this, let me back that up. If the reason you're requesting the song is because you want to learn how to play it or sing it or whatever, please just state something like that I want to play along or I want to learn to play the song or something like that. Just say that, and that way I'll give a little bit more instruction about it or a little more detail, in case there's anything specifically complicated or anything that I notice that people often mess up in a song, because I do notice that a lot. Like when you're playing in groups and jams and things, there will be someone that'll change a chord at the wrong time, and often it's the way the song sounds like it does that, but it doesn't. I can think of 2 or 3 songs like that where there's a chord change that everybody throws in there, but it really either holds it longer before it changes or something like that. And so that's my point, is if you're trying to learn the song, state that in the request. That way I'll try to make sure I cover anything that's complicated or detailed or anything like that. Let's see. I'm going to start off with just a tune that I wrote, and I've done this before many times on the channel, but this song has a story, and I feel like I have to tell the story because otherwise I don't think the song makes as much sense. But when you hear the story behind it, then you go, wow, it makes perfect sense, I think. Well, that is that we played a show up in Wentzville, Missouri. This was a long time ago. And 1 month to the day almost, and I'm pretty sure it was 1 month to the day after we played that show, my phone rang, and a man said, are you Jerry Rosa? And yeah, of course I said yes. And he says, we were at your show that you played up in Wentzville. We just wanted to let you know that we really loved your show. My wife and I were there, and he just kind of talked about that, and I thought, well, that's kind of nice for somebody to wait a month and call me and tell me they really liked the show. I didn't, I kind of felt like there was something up, but it just because that's unusual, Well, he haws around a little bit, and then he says, did anybody take any pictures of the audience that evening? And I said, well, I don't know. I'm the chairman of the organization. I know everybody there pretty much. If you could tell me, was there a specific area or thing you were looking for or something? And he says, well, my wife and I were sitting up near the front. I was just wondering if anybody took any pictures of us there, And so anyway, we kept hee-hawing around. I knew there was something else going on, And I said, well, if you could tell me more about that, I'd be happy to see if I could, find somebody sitting in that area or whatever. He goes, well, I really didn't want to tell you this. He says, I didn't want to burden you with the problem. He says, but, it was the last thing we ever did together. He said, on the way home that evening, my wife was killed in a car wreck, and I just got out of the hospital today. And I just wondered if anybody had a picture of us together on our last thing we did together, And boy, that really sent chills through me. And I think I even drew a tear or two. And anyway, when I hung up from the fella, I told him I would do my best to try to find a picture. Well, I never did. But when I hung up from him, right then I wrote this song. So I hope you like it. Did anybody... Oh, I'm sorry. Because these are play-alongs, I need to tell you what chord I'm playing it in. It's in E, and it's just 2 chords. This one's as simple as it gets, just E and B. So it's 1 and 5. Whenever there's a 2-chord song, it's almost always 1 and 5. There are a couple of exceptions, but it's pretty rare. So 1 and 5. So E and B in this case. E is 1. Did anybody take her picture? I've heard a picture's worth 1,000 words. And I'd like to have just one more conversation. So I'll have to let a picture speak for her. I didn't know it was our last night together, the last time I'd see her alive. Side by side we watched that show together, but on that lonely road that night she died. Did anybody take her picture? I've heard a picture's worth 1,000 words. And I'd like to have just one more conversation. So I'll have to let a picture speak for her. I have only my memory to serve me. Remember the good times we had. If only I'd taken her picture, I could speak to it and wouldn't feel so sad. Did anybody take her picture? I've heard a picture's worth 1,000 words. And I'd like to have just one more conversation. So I'll have to let a picture speak for her. I never thought to take her picture. In fact, it never once crossed my mind. But now that she has gone on forever, I think about it all of the time. Did anybody take her picture? I've heard a picture's worth 1,000 words. And I'd like to have just one more conversation. So I'll have to let a picture speak for her. Yes, I'll just have to let a picture speak for her. And I know most of you have heard me say already that I never did find the picture, and that, that I just wrote this song, but then I invited him to our next show, and we did the song for him, of course, and then I also gave him a copy of the song written in a frame. So, anyway. Let's see. The next song I'm going to do for you this evening, again, please put your requests in, because if you don't put requests in, we're done when I'm done with these next two songs. If you don't put your requests in, there's probably no reason for me to do these on Thursday evening. Right now, we only have 29 viewers to begin with, so there you go. Let's see. I'm going to do this one. This is a new country tune I learned, and I've done it a time or two already, but I'm just doing it for practice for myself mostly. On one hand, I forgot to tell you the chords again. This is G, C, D, G, C, D, and then there's an A, which is your 2 chord. So 1, 4, 5, G, C, D is 1, 4, 5, and your 2 chord is your A. On one hand, I count the reasons I could stay with you and hold you close to me all night long. So many lovers' games I'd love to play with you. On that hand, there's no reason why it's wrong. But on the other hand, there's a golden band to remind me of someone who would not understand. On one hand, I could stay and be your loving man, but the reason I must go is on the other hand. In your arms I feel the passion that I thought had died. When I looked into your eyes, I found myself. And when I first kissed your lips, well, I felt so alive. I gotta hand it to you, girl, you're something else. But on the other hand, there's a golden band to remind me of someone who would not understand. On one hand, I could stay and be your loving man, but the reason I must go is on the other hand. Yes, the reason I must go is on the other hand. Oh, the other hand. On the other hand, I guess is the title of the song. That was a Randy Travis. I knew Travis was in there. I almost said Travis Tritt, and I went, that ain't right. Randy Travis song. That guy was something else, man. And Randy Travis, he just had a great voice. He just had a great way about his music. And I came this close to being able to have a jam with him one evening. I've probably told this, I think I did before a time or two. But Renee was working at a health food store. Renee was our bass player at the time. She was Emery's mother. And she was working at a health food store. And in walks Randy Travis one afternoon. And, you know, she didn't know him from Adam. Renee didn't know a lot about country music or country stars or anything like that. She was pretty naive, actually. Great gal, but she just didn't get out a lot, you know. Anyway, Randy Travis, I don't know, they got to talking somehow or another, and she found out who he was. Well, she invited him to our jam that evening. He goes, well, boy, that sounds like fun, you know, and he talked it up like he would possibly be there, you know. Well, he didn't show, unfortunately, but that would have been really cool had he shown up. That would have been one of the best evenings ever, I have a feeling. But anyway, that's water under the bridge. Or I should say, well, on the other hand, it didn't happen. I'm going to do one more tune here, and then we'll try to get to your requests. Hopefully, I do see a request or two down there. Let's see. I'm going to do this one. This is one that Bill Pilliard does all the time. So when Bill's here, I really can't do it. I actually stole this tune from Bill, though I think I had maybe heard it once on the radio. It's a great song, beautiful song. Now, Bill does it really the way it's supposed to be done. He does it nice and slow and real countrified, and it just sounds beautiful the way Bill does it. In fact, I can't compete with Bill on the song. But I just decided to do it completely different and do it more of a bluegrass sound or style to it. But yet it still has a lot of the feel, I think. So it's called When the Thought of You Catches Up With Me. We do it in the key of G. This one is got a little bit more chords to it. It's G, C, D, which is 1-4-5, of course. It's going to have a 2 in it, but it's a real quick 2. It hardly... And most likely you'll miss it if you're not used to playing it. But the 2 comes out of an E minor, and so there's an E minor also, which is your 6 minor. Your 2 is your is your A. So you got G, C, D. You have an A, and you have an E minor. All right, here we go. This is, like I said, this is not the way it was done originally, and it's not the way Bill does it, but it's the way I do it. It can happen any moment without reason or rhyme. It might be right around the corner or it will come up from behind. The picture that I thought would fade, but I still clearly see. That's when the thought of you catches up with me. And it can happen on a Sunday drive, the sky above a shade of blue, driving down some lonesome highway, then you come into view. And mile after mile goes by, and you are all I see. That's when the thought of you catches up with me. When the thought of you comes into my mind, it will carry me away to a better place in time. And it can happen in the dead of the night, or any day of the week. Sometimes you'll come and find me when I'm in bed asleep. Then I'll have that dream about you. Oh, I love what I see. That's when the thought of you catches up with me. That's when the thought of you catches up with me. Oh, the thought of you is caught up with me. That's my arrangement. Quite a bit different than the original for sure. But you just have to take a song. If you like the song, you generally have to take the song and make it fit your style, your way of doing it. And some songs, that just almost isn't possible. That one there doesn't sound anything like the original, the way I do it. But it fits me, it works for me. Bill does it wonderfully. He and does it just like the original pretty much. But I think he does it better, actually. I really do. It's a shame a guy like Bill or somebody like that actually does a song better than the original version wasn't the first one to be heard on it. Where he could have made the big bucks. But anyway, let's go through the comments and see what's up and who's here and who wants me to quit. That's been noted before in the comments. But you see, I'm still here. Let's see. Bill Rhodes was in there. Says, I just wanted to let you know I'm here this evening. And then there's Joe Nigan. Have a nice time, everyone. Ronald Todd says, good evening from the West Banks of New Jersey. And Ronald says, good evening from Upper Peninsula of Indiana. LOL. I'm about 25 miles from Michigan, so that puts me in the Upper Peninsula. Yeah. Kind of like in the Michigan where they always say, I'm right here. They put their hand up, and show how it is. Except I might have done that backwards. It might go this way. I don't know. I can't remember. But anyway. Let's see. Don Nice. Good evening, everyone. We in the mood for some great bluegrass tonight. Well, good. Well, I did sort of one bluegrass tune and kind of modified another one to sound a little bit more bluegrassy. Anyway, Scott Roberts, after we went live, says, play that Marty Robbins sounding song that you wrote. Well, we'll get to that first. That's in the key of C. This is C, F, and G, and there is a 2 chord, and the 2 chord is going to be a D. Your 2 chord is always 2 notes higher than your 1. So since we're doing this in C, C is 1, and if you go up 2 notes, it's a D. It's just the way it works. Just that's one of the rules that I wrote on the Nashville number system. And the story on this song is I started writing this when I was 18. I completely forgot about it. I really didn't play music then, but I started playing music around 28, so that's 10 years later. And this song would come into my head, and until I was age 48, I couldn't find the song. I couldn't think of where it came from. I didn't have any idea. I knew the song from somewhere, but I didn't know where it came from. So finally, when I'm 48, I asked my brother Scott, I said, have you ever heard this? And I played what little bit of it I could think of, and he goes, well, yeah, you big blankety blank, 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 blank. I said, what are you talking about? He goes, well, you idiot, don't you remember? I remember what? He goes, you wrote it. I said, oh, yeah. So then I finished it when I was 48. So this is my 30-year song. Originally, when I started writing it, I remember now that I was going to send it to Marty Robbins, and of course, by the time I got it finished, he was dead. From where I stand, I can see all the lights of the city. For one man to love one woman so much, it's a pity. From where I stand, I can see the cantina she goes to, where she's not supposed to, but goes anyway. From where I stand, I can hear the music and laughter. Camilla tells me that's what her young heart is after. I see it differently, I see her there with a man. Camilla is lying, I see it from where I stand. From where I stand, I can see the smiles on their faces. The music plays on as I watch their tender embraces. From where I stand, I can see her dress as it's swaying, and it seems to be waving goodbye to me. From where I stand, I can hear the music and laughter. Camilla tells me that's what her young heart is after. But I see it differently, I see her there with a man. Camilla's lying, I see it from where I stand. Camilla is lying, I see it from where I stand. Excuse me. Got a frog in my throat. It's always good to be drinking sweet tea when you're singing. Not really. You shouldn't be doing that, but I'm doing it anyway. It can't hurt my singing. Like Bill Monroe says, you can't hurt ham. Well, you can't hurt my voice. Don Nice. Jerry, it's a hot, muggy night here in eastern Pennsylvania. 80 degrees. I still like that pink shirt. Well, only real men can wear pink. Scott Roberts, that was quite a touching story behind that song, Jerry. I don't remember hearing that song before. Great job. Well, see, that's exactly my point. Yeah, Scott's pretty regular here on my vlogs and program and everything, and yet he hadn't heard that story. Well, I've told it quite a few times, actually. But that's my point, is that not everybody's on every show or every vlog or whatever. And there's so many people, and like the people that come here all the time. And there's some people you can tell they've watched every video, and but then I'll start to tell a story, go, no, I've never heard that before. So I'd go ahead and tell them, It's just the way it is, and plus there's always new people, always new people showing up, and therefore they've never heard it. So that's another reason I tell the stories over and over. And I know most of you have heard them so many times you can recite them for me, but it just kind of is what it is. At least I'm not senile, just telling the same story over and over, not realizing it. Though that may not be far off. You just never know. Lindenbaum, the terrible, terrible snake. That's a real happy song. I've heard that, or a song very similar to that, something about the dreadful snake or something like that. I've heard a song like that, but I don't know it. If I did, I'd do it, but I don't know it. Scott Roberts says, love a good Randy Travis song. Thank you. Well, you're welcome. I really am kind of getting choked up here. Excuse me. Don Nice says, how about the vine-covered church? And so that's in A. And this is 1-4-5 again. So it's A, D, and E in this case. A, D, E. And there's a 2 chord, which in this case is a B. Because it's 2 notes higher than your A or your 1. So there's your A, 2 notes. There's your B. See? Now, I say 2 notes. You know what I'm saying. I'm bouncing the chord up by 2 notes, if you will. That's all I'm doing. And again, I don't know all the technical words and the complicated music theory behind it. I just tell you the common sense way. That's how I play music, is all by common sense. I truly don't know a thing about music. So there you go. Anyway, here it is, the vine-covered church. A true story on this song is that I was on my way to my bluegrass festival when I saw this little church off to the side of the road. And I'm trying to give you the abbreviated version. Well, for about 6 months, from that point on, I tried to write a song about a little one-room schoolhouse that happened to be on my mother-in-law's property, or my wife's parents' property, out in the country. It was a little one-room German schoolhouse. And I tried to write this song, but every time I tried to write the song, this little vine-covered church would come right in front of my eyes, and I couldn't see nothing else. And I'm not making that up. I mean, it really just blocked me from writing anything else. That's all I could think about was that little church. So after about 6 months of that, which is really about the longest I ever spent trying to write a song, minus the 30-year song, but I only spent 15 minutes twice on that one. Anyway, just that they were 30 years apart. But in this case, I just couldn't get nothing written on that little one-room schoolhouse. So the first part of this, where you're hearing where it's located, this is all about the little one-room schoolhouse, the first several lines of the song. But then the rest of it is more about the little vine-covered church. I kind of just picked up where I tried to go with this one-room schoolhouse and changed it to the vine-covered church. I'll tell you the rest of the story right after we do it here. You won't find it on a well-traveled highway. It's not even on a dusty gravel road. And you have to want to be there when you find it. It's not on any maps I know. Out across the field through the pasture, you climb along a steep and rocky trail. When you cross that little creek in the valley, you'll see that vine-covered church on the hill. That vine-covered church above the valley, where the congregation gathered to pray, built with their hands from the forest, now stands as a marker for the grave. The siding and shingles were tattered, the steeple leaned slightly to the right, and though all the windows were shattered, You can still hear them singing at night. The brothers and sisters who worship gather in that holy place still, though they lie at rest in the valley beneath that vine-covered church on the hill. That vine-covered church above the valley, where the congregation gathered to play, built with their hands from the forest, now stands as a marker for the graves. It still stands as a marker for the graves. The vine-covered church. There's several stories I can tell on this song. I mean, really a lot of stories, actually. But I guess two of the most important stories for me are, number one, this was the only song that I had commercially recorded by a group, a commercial group. They were called the Witcher Brothers. They were out of California, and they did have songs charting on the bluegrass charts at the time. And I don't know if this actually charted or not. I don't remember, to be truthful, but I know I did get a number of royalty checks on the song, quite a few, in fact. I think the very biggest one I ever got, though, was like $75. So I was going to quit my day job after I got that one, but I decided maybe I shouldn't. But anyway, I did get quite a few checks, though, on that song, which is kind of good when you consider they only pay you like 3 cents per airplay. So, you know that it's getting played quite a bit if it even gets $75, But anyway, the probably the most important part of the story of the song is that the moment we played it the very first time after I got the band up to speed on it. Now keep in mind, now it's been 6-8 months later, that I finally got the band up to speed on the song, and we decided to play it, and it turns out that we were playing it right in the neighborhood of where the church was. We were playing it at the Farmington Auction Barn down in Farmington, Missouri. The church was only about 10 miles further down the road. So when we got off stage and we're just walking down the stairs, a guy met me at the bottom of the stairs of the stage. And he says, "Son, I got to tell you, I really like your song about the vine-covered church, but do you know you have to change the words?" And, that's a weird thing to say to somebody that writes a song. You need to change the words. Why? He goes, "What, you mean you don't know?" I said, "I don't know what?" He goes, "Well, they just tore that church down yesterday." Well, that really just sent shivers through my whole body, because it was just as if the song was to keep the little church alive. And the little church is still alive right there in that photograph. It's covered in snow in that photograph. That was back in the old days of the first color printers, and it's kind of faded and turned kind of blue over the years. But anyway, it is what I had. That's what I have. The next time we were down in that area, that bluegrass organization down in that area presented me with that picture, which I thought was pretty cool. Let's see. Moving on. Wow, it scrolled a long ways now. Let's see. All right. Grandpa's Old Fiddle. Okay, this song is in the key of D, dog. For many, many, many years, this was my most requested song whenever we would play up in the St. Louis area. It was a pretty popular song up in that general area. But I couldn't play a show without playing this song back years ago. So it's in the key of D. It's 1, 4, 5. So it's D, G, A. And then it does have a 2-chord in it, which is your E also. And I think that's it. I don't think there's anything else. I don't think there's any minors in this. So the true story on this one is, I woke up in the middle of the night and wrote this song, and don't really remember writing it at all, to be truthful. But the next morning when I woke up, I lay there in bed and I thought, did I write a song last night, or did I dream I wrote a song? And the truth is, and I'm not trying to embellish this, the truth is I didn't know. I just lay there and I thought, well, that's weird. Did I write a song, or did I dream I wrote a song? And I truly didn't know. So I get up and I start walking through the house, and I walked all the way from one end to the other. And I didn't see no sign of any song that I had written. But on the way back to my bedroom, I just happened to glance over at the dining room table of all places, which is something we never used at all, except maybe at Christmas and Thanksgiving. And sure enough, the paper was laying right on top of the dining room table, and I haven't really changed a word of the song. It goes like this. An old battered case, weathered and worn, with the hinges all rusted and the fabric all torn, but still cradled inside was one old precious thing. It was Grandpa's old fiddle. Oh, how sweetly it rings. Grandpa's old fiddle played sweet melody. He played it from his heart for my grandma and me. Wrinkled old hands, he held it with love, and I can still hear it playing up in heaven above. He was the most honest man that I ever have seen, and his time on this old earth was most precious to me. He lived on the current river at the mouth of Blue Springs, and at night the hills echoed as his old fiddle would ring. Grandpa's old fiddle played sweet melodies, and he played it from his heart for my grandma and me. Wrinkled old hands, he held it with love, and I can still hear it playing up in heaven above. I was just a boy at the time, but I remember one day when Grandpa and his old fiddle some old tunes he did play. Well, now Grandpa, he has left us for heaven above, but he left me that old fiddle, and now I play it with love. Grandpa's old fiddle played sweet melody, and he played it from his heart for my grandma and me. Wrinkled old hands, he held it with love, and I can still hear it playing up in heaven above. That old fiddle is ringing up in heaven above. What I forgot to tell you is at the beginning there is when I woke up that night, it was exactly 2 months to the day after he had passed away, which I thought made it even that much more important. Let's see. Now, I did get a call from a DJ one night over in Illinois and said that that was their most requested song they had on their radio program for like 2 months running, is what he told me. Let's see, moving on down. Scott Roberts says, how about Whiskey Lullaby? Well, I at the very beginning, Scott, I said I'm going to pass on Whiskey Lullaby. The reason is that I don't have the chords down correctly. I've got it mostly down, and I think the way I do it sounds okay, but the truth is I'm missing several chord changes in there, and so I thought it's probably not wise for me to do this on a play-along when I'm really trying to teach as well as play the song if I'm not really getting all the right chords. It's more chordy than I thought it was. I would say most songs are that way. I don't have the best ear for chords, I'll be honest with you. I can get through the song, and I could do it right now, but I think I'm going to pass because I just hate to pass on bad habits to people. In other words, you're going to learn it the way I learned it, the way I'm doing it, and it's not quite right. And that's just the truth of it. Ronald Todd, my request tonight, Jerry, is for you to play a song that you like and really enjoy playing, your favorite. Well, I tell you, my standard for years, starting my shows, and the reason is because I had all the confidence in the world that we could nail this song, and it's a cool song, and I think it's got a good sound and the whole bit. You know, it kind of all comes together. I think my arrangement on it's pretty good. And it's called Blue Virginia Blues. And now I'm going to do this in G, so it's G, C, D again. The truth is, I don't remember. Oh, there's a B in it. That's what I call the pretty sound. You know, like whenever I tell you, the Nashville number rules, if you remember, whenever you play a 2, you're going to a 5. Well, there's another rule that says whenever you play a 3, that pretty sound, you're going to move to a 4. And that's what makes it sound pretty, is because you're just sliding up one note. It really sounds pretty in the song, so pay attention to that. When I go to that 3, and then you see me slide right there to the 4, and listen to that pretty sound, the way it blends the music. I'm trying to think if there are any other chords. So it's 1, 4, 5 with the 3. I think there's a 2 in it also. I don't think there's a minor, but if there is, it'll be a 6 minor, I would imagine. But I don't think there is. Anyway, here we go. You know what, my problem is I can't remember all the chords until I get into the song, you know, and then they come to me at that point. Have you ever been to Richmond in November when the cold Virginia rain is pouring down? My friends, I'm here to tell you there's no pleasure when you're all alone and a stranger to this town. Don't take me wrong, I do like East Virginia, and Richmond's full of hospitality, except for one Virginia girl I know of, who made a perfect love wreck out of me. Blue, blue, Virginia blue, there's no blue like blue, Virginia blue. And no other girls in the whole wide world will break your heart like Virginia girls. There's no blue like blue, Virginia blue. She called me up in St. Paul, Minnesota. She said, I need you here in Richmond right away. Take the bus, I'll meet you at the station. And bring your clothes, 'cause I might want you to stay. My bus pulled in the station late this evening. Oh, there's no one around this place but me. Well, she must have changed her mind or she's forgotten, and her name's not in the phone directory. Blue, blue, Virginia blue, there ain't no blue like blue, Virginia blue. And no other girls in the whole wide world will break your heart like Virginia girl. There's no blue like blue, Virginia blue. Now I wish I had the money for a taxi and a warm and cozy place to go lie down, instead of standing all alone in Richmond while the cold Virginia rain is pouring down. Blue, blue, Virginia blue, there's no blue like blue, Virginia blue. And no other girls in the whole wide world will break your heart like Virginia girl. There's no blue like blue, Virginia blue. No, there's no blue like blue, Virginia blue. Nothing like waiting until the end right there to screw it up. But what I was thinking of is why I screwed that up is because most people screw up that ending, and so did I. But I did it for a different reason. Most people, because a recap generally at the end is 1, 5, 1, but that's not the way this song recaps. It recaps 1, 4, 1. There ain't no blue like blue, Virginia blue. And most people go to the D instead of the C, and that's not the way you should do this song. It's, there ain't no blue like blue, Virginia blue. No, there ain't no blue like blue, Virginia blue. So it recaps 1-4-1, which is very unusual, but that's the way the song goes, you know. So just thought I'd point that out. I think that was the only other. There seemed like there was one other thing I was going to point out in that song, but I can't remember what it was now. It's probably that. I was thinking about that pretty much all the way through the whole song, and then I screw up the ending. Pretty stupid. Although I didn't go to the wrong chord, I just didn't hit it at the right spot is why I screwed it up. I didn't go to the 5. Let's see. So Ronald Todd, thank you for that. I enjoy playing that song. It's a great song. Now, I think we have a really good arrangement on that. I play the first half of the breaks on all the breaks on that song, and then the banjo or the guitar or the dobro finishes the second half of the break. But it's just a cool arrangement. It seems to work really well. Scott Roberts, how about a parody for today? You could write, "Go rest now on that recliner." Maybe I'll work on that one myself. Go rest right on that recliner. It's got potential. Let's see. Scott Roberts from Vince Gill's. Yeah, go rest high. Yeah, I knew that's what you were talking about. 10 May says, love your setup in the room. Well, thank you. Yeah, this room sat vacant for 20 years. We didn't use it at all. And I don't know, Sue said, I said something about I'd like to get a widescreen TV, or I would like to make this into a theater, and you can't really see it, but I'll show you here. Pardon me, but you can see that. That's the big screen TV there. Now I got to get the camera pointed back down. That's the big screen TV. Well, I said I'd like, I was thinking of one of those projection TVs originally because, that's old school now. But anyway, whenever I told her about that, she goes, well, you deserve it. You ought, you've been working hard and you've done this and done that. You ought to just get yourself a big screen TV and fix yourself up a room. So I did that. And that's what we did here. And that's a 86-inch, I think it is. Yeah, it's not the 96. It's 86. But that's about as big as I could fit well into that space. But it's awesome. It's a high-def television also, so it's like being right there, especially like in your nature documentaries and stuff. It's just, you feel like you're in the jungle because I've got surround sound all around me on top of it. It's heaven. You can see it's backwards. Everything's backwards. It's so backwards. You just can't imagine trying to point to it. That speaker there, and then there's one back behind me over there. It's really hard to do. You would not believe how hard that is. Because it's not like a mirror. It's not like a mirror at all. It's backwards of a mirror. It's really weird. It's hard to explain. But anyway, so that's how this room came about. So thank you for noticing. I really do love my room here. It's just really wonderful. Let's see. Done nice. Jerry, keep going as long as you feel good. We enjoy. Well, thank you. I'm showing 39 viewers. Well, right now I'm showing 56, so we're doing pretty good. Ronald Todd says up to 48. Walt Wilderd says, good evening, everyone. How about Clayton Delaney? You know what? If you don't care, I'm going to pick up the guitar on that one just because I just feel like that's one I always did on a guitar. And I'm not very good on a guitar, but that's one I always did on a guitar. Now the only problem is it even close to being in tune? It's like like I said before, though, you can't really hurt my voice, so it don't really matter if it's in tune or not. But I think I always get the date mixed up on this. I think it's a 1941 Martin 0018. And it's in here for a neck reset. It's owned by Bert Pichon. Boy, I almost couldn't come up with the name there, Bert. Sorry. It's me and names. I tell you, it's terrible. Now, I haven't done this in a while, and generally I practice this one because this one's a wordy song, and it's got a lot of the verses sound similar, and you can get off so easy. So I'll do my best. I hope I don't mess it up because I love this song. I remember the year that Clayton Delaney died. They said for the last 2 weeks that he suffered and cried. And it made a big impression on me, though I was just a barefoot kid. Well, they said he got religion at the end, and I'm glad that he did. Clayton was the best guitar picker in our town, and I thought he was a hero. I used to follow Clayton around. Clayton used to tell me, son, you ought to put that old guitar away. He said there ain't no money in it, it'll lead you to an early grave. This is where I'm getting it mixed up. I guess if I'd admitted Clayton taught me how to drink booze, I can see him half stoned picking out the lovesick blues. When Clayton died, I made him a promise that I was gonna carry on somehow, and I'd give $100 if he could only see me now. I know there's another verse, but I cannot come up with it. I can think of parts of the line, but I can't think of all of it. I remember the year that Clayton Delaney died. Nobody ever knew it, but I went out in the woods and I cried. Well, I've known a lot of fine preachers who know a lot more than I do. Well, it could be that the good Lord likes a little picking too. Yeah, I remember the year that Clayton Delaney died. Well, I'm sorry, I had to leave out that one verse. If I could have just thought of the first word of the verse, I'd have had it, but I couldn't think of the first word. That's the way it goes, you know. You get what you pay for. It's this cheap talent you get these days, you know. Let's see. Scott Roberts says, you know more about your method than I do. I am still trying to understand the number system. I learned music reading it from trumpet. Never could do that for guitar. Always been by ear from there. Well, I hope you should, well, you know, do what you want, but if you could get yourself a cheap mandolin and get my mandolin course and really apply yourself to it, pretty sure you'll understand it because it's all common sense. I don't teach anything technical in the course at all. Some people get it. The older you are, the harder it is. That's the truth. It's just the way it is. Gino Hitch. Carmen would be a nice, glad if you're feeling better. Okay. Carmen's in C also. It's another Marty Robbins number, of course. And normally we kick this on a banjo, and then I go right into the yodel when we're practiced up. But right now, I'm just going to go right into the yodel, which is going to go right to the G. So this is just 1-4-5. I don't think there's anything extra in this one. I don't think. Carmen, Carmen, Carmen. Tonight I am making, my body is shaking. Tonight Carmen's coming back home. Tonight there'll be no room for tears in my bedroom. Tonight Carmen's coming back home. Tonight as I stand here, I've noticed my hands here are trembling as never before. My feelings I can't hide, resistance is all that my pride will rush outside the moment she walks through the door. The lips that have kissed her, that's loved her and missed her, are lips that have cursed her at night. Through anguish and torment I've cursed as the nights went from darkness till dawn's golden light. I thought of just taking these two hands and breaking that body I'm making to touch. I find while I'm waiting there's no time for hating, while anticipating the woman I wanted so much. Up to D, dog. I place pretty flowers to brighten the hours. I put brand new sheets on the bed. I'm nervous, I'm trembling, recalling, remembering the way that she tosses her head. I've given much thought to the fact that I ought to have more control over my life. How can I fight it? There's no way to hide it. I cannot deny it, the love that I have for my wife. Carmen, Carmen, Carmen. That one takes your breath away. Need the bass and the banjo and the rest of the group on that one, boy. It's kind of thin with just a mandolin. Let's see. Ronald Tanmay says, if you want Jerry to read your text chat, put question marks in it. Yeah, oh, that's true. Yeah. So I try to only look for the question mark ones, although it just depends. If I see something that catches my eye, I'll read it, even if there's no question marks. But I'm a very poor reader. That's just the bottom line of the truth of it. And it's all I can do to read it when it's short and sweet. Anyway, Scott Roberts says, Ronald Todd, that is a great idea. One special to Jerry would be nice. Okay. Well, that I tried to do that with that Blue Virginia Blue. I like that one a lot. Let's see, moving on down. We're going to wrap this up here pretty quick because we're just about an hour into it, 58 minutes according to my clock here. 86-inch screen? I thought the 48-inch one was given with a few months ago was huge. Of course, wife and I had 13-inch black and white first 5 years of marriage. Yeah, well, Scott, I'm right there with you. I mean, this was an extravagance for me. I told Sue I was going to get one like a 48-inch or that kind of thing. She goes, no, just get the big one. Just get one that you like, And I went, okay. So I did. I went ahead and got the big one. I guess that's my retirement gift to me. Let's see. Scott Roberts, by the way, do you know Son of Clayton Delaney? No, I don't know that one. If you've never heard it, check it out. Yeah, I heard about it. I know. I might have heard the song, but I definitely heard there was a follow-up song. But I don't know. I don't recall any of it, so maybe I haven't heard it. I just don't know. Scott Roberts, I did pick up used Gretsch A-style mandolin for $40 and have almost finished setting it up. I bought it for inspiration. Thank you, Jerry. Well, good. I do think, again, I know I'm patting myself on the back, number one, and number two, it sounds like I'm trying to sell you something. I don't care about the money. I really don't. the truth of the matter is, I do think you will learn a whole lot about music just by going through my mandolin training. I mean, I truly think, I don't know. I've just done it hundreds of times. I've taught those lessons hundreds of times, especially with kids, and they get it like that. I mean, they just get it as fast as you can feed it to them, and all I see is taillights leaving. I mean, seriously, they pass me up so fast. Once they understand my concept in the way I teach the Nashville number system, they just get it, and then they go with it. And I mean, like in just a few months, they're playing stuff I cannot play, and that is the truth. I'm not making that up. I'm not glorifying it or anything. I'm telling you that's the way it is. Let's see. Gary Hayes says, great job, Clayton Delaney. Jerry, do you know the song where the band leader stopped to see his dad? Don't know the name of the song. No, I don't know that, I don't think. James Daly says, you sang well on Blue, Virginia Blue. Best I've heard from you. Well, thank you. Let's see, Michael Landreth, Jerry Roberts, the NNS is based 100% on the key you're in major. One is always the key. Think about notes you'd play on your trumpet in one key, and then, yeah. Well, I don't know. I feel like the way I explain it is completely different, and it's completely common sense. There's no technical part of it at all. It's just... But you got to start from the beginning, and you got to go all the way through it. And if you do that, by the time you're done, you'll be going, hey, music makes sense now. I mean, it really changes. It changed my whole life when I learned the Nashville number system the way, I think it was, how do I explain it? It's like two bullets hitting in the air, hitting like this. Normally they're not going to hit. Well, it just so happened that they hit that time. In other words, I taught myself a very weird way to play the mandolin to begin with that I couldn't explain to anybody else. And then I sat down and learned the Nashville number system. Well, those two bullets hit. The Nashville number system hit the bullet straight on the way I taught myself to play. I mean, it's just like two things lined up, and it might not ever happen again in the history of the world because nobody's going to teach themselves the weird way I taught myself to play mandolin. And then number two, to think about the Nashville number system the way I think about it, it just lined up perfectly. And so that's why I think it's very unique training. I don't think you'll find it anywhere else. In fact, I know you won't. And anyway, just is what it is. So there you go. Take it for what it's worth. Take it for a brag. Take it for, I'm trying to sell you something. I don't care how you take it. I got nothing to win or lose from it. It's not going to make me rich either way. Let's see. James Daly, that is the son of Clayton Delaney. Okay. Scott Roberts, sorry, that was for Gary. Yeah, that's okay. Ronald Todd says, I can now see the surround speakers in all the years. I've never noticed them and don't miss stuff like that. Got me. No, yeah, that's, there's, I don't know now. Let me count them. Let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then 8, 9 if you count the studio speakers off of the computer here, but I don't think that those are not tied into the main system though. So it's a 7, 1x7, I think is what they call it, or something like that. 1x6 maybe is what it is. It's probably a 1x6 because it's got the woofer, subwoofer, and then it's got 6 surround sound speakers. But anyway, let's see. Gary Hayes, thanks, Scott. That was a great song for time. Yeah. Okay, well, guys, I'm going to let that be it. Thank you all for being here. I really do appreciate it. It says 63 viewers now. Well, those of you who just showed up, I hope you'll go back and rewatch it. Thank you so much for being here. We will see you tomorrow on the vlog at about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Be there or be square. Thank you.